Hard to believe, but it's the regular season finale for Brophy Broncos lacrosse here in the 2025 season. Welcome to Broncos lacrosse on APN Video as Brophy hosts a New Jersey school in Christian Brothers Academy from Lincroft. It's the first ever trip west of the Mississippi for CBA, and the teams will tangle here at Brophy Sports Complex to close out the regular season. Brophy is in a perfect 10-0 in Arizona lacrosse. CBA arrived here on Monday, played Spire from Ohio last night, a 7-6 double overtime thrilling affair, and now will take on the Brophy Broncos. Which Broncos team will we see, Nate? Will we see the team that has shored up its defense, the team that is turning the ball over, or the team is firing effectively with ball and player movement on the offensive end?
Well, I'm an optimistic guy, Scott, so I'm going to say we're going to have a team that is not succumbing to the spring break lulls, if you will, come out with some passion, come out with some fire, come out with that energy that we know Brophy plays with. So excited to watch how they bounce back here after a loss to Spire. A couple days ago against Spire, they battled hard towards the end, back and forth, took the lead, and then unfortunately lost it in the end to a very good Spire team. So props to Spire for working hard. It's great. I'm sure the folks from New Jersey are excited to be out here. It's 88, 89 degrees here, sunny, no clouds in the sky. Beautiful day here in central Phoenix area, and we are just blessed to be able to be out here, call this game, and for these young guys to get out there and play a sport that they love. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm excited about it and excited to see how Brophy bounces back both offensively, defensively, their clears as well.
We are minutes away from face-off here. A nice traveling contingent from CBA. About 20 of their families have made the trip across country to enjoy spring break with warmer temperatures, often the first time out west for many of these families, and they have taken in Camelback Mountain, some of our great bookstores, nice restaurants. I saw some Pizza Bianco boxes floating around here, people raving about Beach House, which is just north of us here on Camelback, and excited to maybe go 2-0 on this trip, but Brophy wants to finish it on a strong suit after the defeat to Spire on Monday night and heading into the playoffs for Brophy as they look for the fourth straight Arizona Lacrosse League title. We're about to face off here. Jack Grassoni for the Broncos, and we are looking at Nick Mangelli for CBA, and opening face-off won by the Broncos and Jack Grassoni, but an immediate turnover, and CBA will get their first 6-on-6 opportunity here this evening.
Yeah, Jack actually did a great job winning the face-off there. For some reason, it popped out of his stick. I don't know why, because he didn't take a hit, but good hustle to try to recover. CBA gets it, transitions the ball down to the offensive side for them. Brophy, one thing that they were doing pretty good against Spire, and they've done this last 3 or 4 games, is stopping that fast transition. When they get in trouble and give up goals, it's when the transition defense is not as effective. But right there, we just saw the defense settle down and force them into a 6v6.
The other thing Brophy's defense has to watch out for is the off-ball cutters and movement, especially in the high hub area. When Brophy has defended that, they've had extreme success. When they've allowed it, they've given up some goals and had to claw back. Nice slide there for Brophy on defense by Zach Lacasse, who just a few games ago traded in his short stick for a long pole due to some injuries and roster shortage on the defensive end, and has done a nice job for the Broncos. Great defense there by Grassoni. The faceoff man stayed on the field and caused a turnover. Clears in the fourth quarter for Brophy were a big problem, so it will be interesting to see how the Broncos take care of the ball and moving up. Coach Harbison said this was a point of emphasis. The Poles need to have an external clock in their head to know when to get the ball across the 50-yard line, 20 seconds to get it across midfield, and an additional 10 seconds to get the ball into the box. They're at the 30-yard line, so Brophy 1 for 1 in clears this evening. And now it's first 6-on-6 offensive set for the team in all white.
Yeah, nice clear there by Dane. It looked like CBA was really just going to let Dane take the ball all the way down past the 50, so Brophy will definitely welcome that opportunity. made a really good decision, get back on and set up in our 6v6. Here we're going to see Brophy probably move the ball a couple of times around. Unfortunately, have an unforced turnover right there. But they're going to want to try to spin the ball around a couple of times, Scott, just to get offensive set, try to see what the defense is doing, and then look for the right person for the right shot.
So CBA's first attempted clear of the night is a successful one. Turnovers were 15 deep the other night against Spire in the 18-14 loss. Brophy carried a 12-10 advantage into the final quarter, but the turnovers in the fourth quarter were a big difference in the W or the loss. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hot ball movement, passing and catching will get the defense to move, and that's where Brophy is at its best in addition to transition offense, which has been a strong suit all year long.
CBA is going to start with a two-man game behind the cage. Probably saw a little bit of what Spire did against Brophy the other night because they were here scouting, and they're going to be looking to try to hit that crease. Great slide there by number 3, Zach Lacoste, to force the attackman to peel back out, and there was a 2 slide to be able to stop that cutter. So I would imagine CBA is going to try to expose that because Spire did have some success in their 6v6 set hitting the crease.
Little confusion there, but a nice stick by Dane Helt to knock it down, halting the momentum for CBA, and the Colts out of Lincroft, New Jersey will reset their offense. This is Caden Lusich.
Nice defense by Harry. Again, the whole idea when a Dodger's going down the right or left alley is to force them down. There, nice dodge by number 11.
Lusich with his 10th goal of the year, and a beautiful a dodge from X on the curl, got a step, and beat Peitzmeyer in net.
Yeah, and unfortunately there we didn't have Brophy did not slide from the crease. Brophy looks to be sliding from the crease, so whoever's covering the crease player is going to slide to whoever's dodging, and then there has to be what we call a 2 slide, which covers the crease. So unfortunately, we didn't have a slide right there, so it left the attackman number 11 wide open. Great take, great identification by the attackman to go ahead and take the shot. Going back to the turnovers, Scott, I don't think Brophy's had a lot of what I would call bonehead turnovers. They've been effort turnovers, but nonetheless they're still a turnover, and Brophy's going to have to clean that up. Try to stay within under 10, especially against a team like CBA, very skilled, very hard-working team with a lot of guys going to the next level.
So some of those D1 commits we'll talk about through the course of the game, but their defense is a senior-laden defense with a deep pull going to Air Force Academy, to Harvard, and to Bryant. So Brophy will have to penetrate that tough defensive unit to get on the board.
So you see a couple times Brophy's trying to dodge from the wing. I like that. Unfortunately, we have another unforced turnover right there. I bet you Tate Armstrong couldn't see it in the sun. The sun's coming down at an angle for these players that if you're on that east side of the field, it's going to get lost in the sun. And right there, Tate's really good stick work, so I can't imagine it was anything but not being able to see in the sun. So they're going to have to account for that because, again, we still can't have turnovers here. Number 3, Zach Lacoste out pressuring. Number 10, you're going to see a lot of that from Brophy. Coach Pat likes to play that pressure defense and make that offensive player do something with the ball. The downside of pressuring out so far is the slide is a lot longer, which usually creates more of an easier assist for the player with the ball. So there's a risk-reward in this particular kind of aggressive defense.
So part of the reason Brophy is doing that is some of these D1 commits are up top, and Brophy wants to neutralize their impact, even perhaps stopping them from getting the ball. Here's Lusich, who scored the game's only goal thus far on Harrison Yu. Lusich, nice save by Peitzmeyer, his first of the night.
Yeah, excellent save, and a good job by Harry to force him down the alley. Didn't actually need the slide that time, which was good, and that's the thing about sliding is sometimes you show, which means you look like you're going to slide and you pull back, and if the defender covering the Dodger doesn't need it.
Timeout by Brophy on that, as Dane Helt, the long pole, was holding the ball in the offensive box, and Coach Harbison said, I don't like this very much. Let's get our offense together. Let's get our proper team set, our unit together, and not have our long pole out front with the ball as we're down 1-0 midway through the first quarter. Some of those D1 commits for Christian Brothers, we talked about their defense. Number 11, Jackson Gervais, going to the Air Force Academy. Another senior defenseman, number 6, Luke Krebs, headed to Bryant and Long Island. Number 26, Quinn Kelly. Keep an eye on him all night long. He's a long pole going to Harvard. He's the only junior All-American in program history, which he achieved last year. He's also the career leader in points at the school for a long pole. And last year he had 34 points, which is a nice number for the long pole. Believe it or not, we're going to see a long pole on man up tonight. We're going to see Quinn Kelly on the offensive unit. He has 7 goals, in part due to his man up duties. And the other defensive stalwart for the Broncos, for the Colts, at midi is Sacred Heart commit Hunter Kilpatrick, number 44. So keep an eye on those folks right now. In addition to number 2, Davis Campbell, who's going to Holy Cross in the Patriot League, where he will take on Eric Wolfson, who is headed to Lafayette College next year. But here we have Brophy in a 6-on-6 set. Carter Fitzgerald, his first time tonight, taking the field. Number 7 initiates to Tate Armstrong, Ben Geist, Eli Friedman, Josh Busey, and Tate Lacasse on the offensive unit for the Broncos.
So Brophy running a 2-man game on the one side with a backside exchange as the sweeper is coming across the top. They're doing 2 things. They're looking for a skip pass or they're looking for someone down low. Obviously, if they're open, they would take the shot. But as they're coming across, you'll see Carter. He's looking inside. He's either going to shoot it. Unfortunately, drops the ball, but that was the right decision to shoot because he had the inside. So here we go on a fast break.
This is Quinn Kelly. We talked about him. Look out. Nice pass to Lucic for the goal. So one of the things that Brophy struggled with in the last game was turnovers leading to opponent goals. And here is one right there at the 5:59 mark. In transition, Kelly finds Lucic for his second of the night, and CBS takes a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part about turning the ball over in the middle of the field right around that 25, 30-yard line. It really just ignites that fast break, and then you have a 4v3. So as long as the offensive player makes the right decision and makes the right pass, like number 26 did there, it's going to be pretty difficult for any defense to stop that.
It's a nice pickup by Grassoni, 3 for 3 on the faceoff dot for the Broncos. But unforced turnover number 4, total turnovers number 5 in the first quarter. That is not what Brophy wanted. In fact, Coach talked about when the play gets hectic, need to stay under control to control the pace of play.
Scott, they're probably going to have to look to start the offense on the west side here of the field. It's really difficult to see the ball over there unless you carry it over there. So that's now 2 turnovers in the same spot. So I think they're going to have to shift and either start the play from X or from the west side here, closer to us.
Good news is in the fourth quarter, either the sun will be down or Brophy will be going in the other direction, and the sun shouldn't have the same effect. But right now it's a 2-0 ball game in favor of CBA with 5 minutes to play here in the first quarter. This is Tanner Cook, another 2-man opportunity for the Colts. Cook shot the ball wide, and Harrison Yu in the run out. Did he get there? He did. And great hustle by Harrison Yu will give Brophy possession. 10-man ride here for CBA. What that means is their goalie is out. But the shot attempt by Harrison Yu down the field went wide, and goaltender Shane Borison was the closest to the ball, and CBA will have possession on the failed cleared attempt.
The reason why Harry tried that is because we had a 10-man ride, which means there's nobody in the goal. So he's trying to take a shot at the goal. A lot of times, your attackman is back there. At that time, unfortunately, Tate Lacasse was on the opposite side of where that shot was angling, and so good play by CBA's defenseman to get back there and take the ball. Earlier, we saw a nice slide from Zach Lacoste down and low on that attackman that was going up the hatch. Just enough to throw the shot off. A lot of times that's what it takes. Great strong defense there, forcing him back. Again, I can see CBA going back to behind the cage. They're having some success back there.
Daniel Verone, a freshman, big body, goes downhill there. He scored the game winner in double overtime 2 games ago for CBA in a win over Rumson from New Jersey. So, yes, the last 2 games for CBA have both been double overtime games, both been game winners for CBA, and both by freshman players. So while we talked about a senior-laden defense, this Colts team is a young offense, just getting to know each other. They're only 9 games in, to their season right now as they start later on the East Coast. And Brophy now in possession off the turnover, attempting to clear the ball here. Again, a little bit of struggles here.
Great recovery.
He has to
don't want to
hustle
see
there.
the bobbles, but we had great recovery, good play, was able to get the ball across, and that's what counts at this point right now. Smart by CBA to dodge down the right alley because Ryan in goal has got to also face that Sun. So smart to start from there and smart to go back behind cage by CBA.
3 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. Brophy substituting here, so content to spin the ball around.
You're going to see a setup by Braden Duck, number 22, Ducky, real quick. Very good right or left, can dish and or shoot with either hand. So they're going to start behind cage. He's going to cut up and probably look for the cutter. Good decision by Braden to roll back.
Double team collapse on Maddox Ranley. Lost control. And now CBA will start its clearing attempt. 3 of 3 on the night, including a transition goal for CBA on clears. Now make it 4 for 4.
So nothing wrong with Maddox trying to draw that slide, but then he's got to pass it.
Yeah, the slide came and he held on to the ball and lost control.
Yeah, as an offensive player, if you're dodging and forcing that slide, it's actually a good thing. However, you got to get rid of the ball because if there's a slide, that means a double team, which means somebody else is open. So then you have to find the open guy.
So 6 turnovers already in the first quarter for the Broncos.
Good.
A lot of the ball has been on this side of the field in the opening quarter. Here's Duck on defense. Good slide there by the defense.
Yeah, seeing Big Todd, number 20, out there sliding up top. That's something. Very good movement, very athletic, 6'6" defender.
This is where Brophy has to be careful from. Watching the cutters that have been susceptible to allowing someone open there. But there, a nice play by the Broncos, scooped up by Baldiga.
Yeah, I love the collapse inside.
Taub on the run.
Love that collapse on the inside right there, and then they forced a bad pass. So that's the danger or the allure is to force that ball into the crease because you have a lot of success. If a defense can do what Brophy just did right there by collapsing in on that, you're going to force those bad decisions to make that pass, and then ball's on the ground, it's anybody's ball. 1
minute to play here in the opening quarter. Josh Busey being guarded by Quinn Kelly. 28, Michael Posque.
Got about 54 seconds left here. Tate Armstrong will take it down behind the cage. With being 6'6", he has the advantage of being able to see over the top. So a lot of times he's a good disher, good feeder at this particular position.
Armstrong curls around. Good defense by CBA. Lightning with the inside roll, but he got hit and lost control.
I think we have a turnover here, though. Almost. Good hustle by CBA to get there. Good ride by Eli Friedman, and it's going to stay Brophy ball. So even though you make a mistake or it doesn't go your way, the ride, what we call the ride by your attackman, by your offense, really can go a long ways to save your bacon.
Timeout by Brophy. 25 seconds left in the first quarter. Harbison wants to slow it down and get his right team on the offense and get a set play here to try and cut the deficit in half as we go to the second quarter.
Yeah, I think Brophy does not want to be down 2-0 here at the end of the first, so trying to get something on the board to go in 2-1 into the second period is certainly going to be the goal. I would say, though, fortunate to only be down 2-0 with the amount of turnovers that we've had already and the lack of just offensive flow. We haven't had a great offensive flow yet, and so I know that's what Pat's going to be talking about here right now is probably moving the ball around. He's going to identify where he wants to dodge from and then try to create that open space for either a shot or a great assist.
So assisted goals have been something also Brophy has lacked a little bit in the latter part of the season compared to the early part of the season. And you mentioned the ball movement tonight not being the same. I haven't seen the ball spin around the perimeter. I'm not sure if I have seen it once go around completely yet. Certainly not twice in a possession to try and get this talented CBA defense out of position and find the advantage. CBA is being aggressive on the dodges, getting up in the face and in the hips of the Brophy attackmen and midfielders right out the outset.
Yes, this team, this Brophy team, just like a lot of other teams, but for sure this team flourishes from a scoring perspective when it's done off the assists. When they they kind of move into the one-on-one game, not as effective. When they spin the ball, people are cutting to the open spots, hitting the open guy for the right shot. This team can put a lot of points on the board, and especially against a great team, a good, very, very good, great team of CBA. That's how they're going to have to play. They have some excellent defenders, and they play strong defense.
20 seconds here. Ben Geist starting the Dodge up top. Over to Eli Friedman. 13 seconds remaining. Quinn Kelly guarding him, the Harvard commit. On his hand. Nice check by Kelly. Didn't give Friedman a clean look with the left hand. 5.3 left. Busey curling around. Shot just a bit high. Not sure if goalie got a piece of it or not, but we are 2-0 CBA after the first period of play.
So the positive of that last sequence is Brophy did get 2 shots off in, the last 25 seconds. So if they would not have gotten a shot off, that would not have been a good offensive series. At least they were able to get 2 shots off. Initially, what they were trying to do is, again, dodge from the wing. So they started up top. They moved it down to Eli, run a little 2-man game. That gives Eli the ability to either dodge down the left side, down the left alley, or to sweep across the top. His first attempt was trying to go across the top because that creates the greatest angle for a shooter is when he's right in front of the cage. So great idea, great play, great design. Didn't execute, rolled back, took the shot. Luckily, we were able to run it out and get possession and start again. So we still got 2 shots off, which was the positive. Obviously, you want to end with the ball going to the back of the cage, though.
So Brophy in the first quarter won all 3 faceoffs, had 7 turnovers, and was 3 for 4 on clears. And CBA coaching staff before the game told us that rides and clears were very important in winning the special teams. So they have won the transition. They scored a goal on transition, have not won the face-off battle, but so far doing a nice job. The other key to them was shooting in the paint. They knew how talented a goalkeeper Ryan Peitzmeyer was, and they couldn't just settle for shots on offense. They wanted to be in the paint. Both of their goals have been from close range, so executing that aspect of their game plan in the first 12 minutes.
Something unusual for Brophy. I don't have this off the top of my head, Scott, but I don't know if Brophy has gone scoreless in the first quarter for a long time or all year. So that would be an interesting stat to have. Do we have statisticians working for us here on APN? I don't think so, but it would be great if we had that stat. But anyway, so to be down 2-0, something a little bit unusual, at least in the last good 6, 7, 8 games. I don't think Brophy's been held scoreless in the first quarter. Very high-powered offense, can score a lot of goals on transition in the 6v6. So let's look forward here into the second quarter, see if the offense can settle down, see if Jack can continue to dominate here at the face-off, and get some transition offensive goals.
So a face-off violation on Brophy leads to the first face-off win of the night for CBA. So this is Quinn Kelly. We have a flag down on Brophy, so that will be an unfortunate trip. 30 yards from the goal is not the type of play you want to have off of a restart with a long pole on possession.
Yeah, certainly Aiden didn't mean to do that. He was trying to recover. He just accidentally stepped on him and tripped him. So it wasn't with his stick or anything. It just probably caught him on the heel. So that was unfortunate. But yes, you really don't want to do that against LSM, even though this LSM is extremely talented, as we talked about before, Quinn Kelly. When you have an LSM that's on man up, that's you're pretty good. Yes,
and here he is up top in a shooting position. Shot, goal for CBA. That was Davis Campbell, a senior. He's a Holy Cross commit. He's the team's leading scorer now with 13 goals on the season. He had 2 last night against Spire, the only player for CBA to have multiple goals in that win over Spire. But he delivered with some high heat there to give CBA a 3-0 lead, only 19 seconds into the second quarter.
I don't know if it was planned, Scott, but again, smart for CBA to take that shot from the left side because they're shooting right into the sun, into Ryan's eyes. Not to take anything away from the shot because it was an excellent shot. Defender's got to jump that a little bit quicker because he's in that time and space to be able to rip. You can't let a kid like that get his hands free and shoot.
I would normally say they might have done it because of the sun, but when they have the leading scorer on that wing, they were probably something they wanted to take advantage of, and unfortunately, they did.
Great check, great trail check by there. Ryan got it, feed it up to Harry. Let's see if we can get a goal.
Tate Lacoste wisely setting it up as he was closed in quickly by Jackson Gervais.
And that's okay. Obviously, you ideally would want to transition or a fast break goal, get something quick on the board, especially here early in the second. But it's always better to make the right decision, set it up on the 6v6, and see what we can do.
Then Geist out to Busey, over to Eli Friedman. Gets a step, but a nice collapse on the defense forces him to play it back through X. And Brophy right now content to find the open matchup here. Maddox Ranley goes to the middle with a left-handed shot, and that's a save by Shane Borison. Brophy will get another opportunity winning the run-out over there. There's a nice ball movement at the early part of the possession. Again, need to be patient and find the right shot. Even though you're down 3-0, it's not an insurmountable lead as long as you take care of the ball and find the right shots. But there, another turnover, unforced turnover, number 5 for the Broncos.
Yeah, probably would have liked to see the attackman carry the ball up a little bit more and just make that pass, especially when you have number 26 right there with Quinn Kelly. He's a premier defenseman, so you're gonna hang that ball in the air. You know, it's like a free safety. He's going to go get that ball, and that's exactly what Quinn did right there. I liked earlier with the two-man game that we set up and then the backside exchange. I'd like to see him come off of that pick or that two-man game and hit the player that's popping out on the exchange for the step down.
So CBA with a 3-0 lead, under 10 minutes to play in the second quarter. With the ball in the high dodge is Daniel Verone. Shot saved by Peitzmeyer. Good save by Ryan.
Yeah, sneaky attempt there by number 22. He's able to get that little answer move by kind of sliding his feet, get his hands back, and take the shot. Again, I think our defenders have got to jump out on that. These guys are going to shoot the ball. If you let them 10 to 12 yards in, they're going to take that shot.
Oh, my God. Bad missed passing catch for the Broncos. Once again, unforced turnover on the clear. In transition, a nice knockdown by Dane Helt.
Great stick in the air by number 19, Dane Helt, to stop that, because that was going to be another tough one for Ryan to stop. So excellent job. Way to get back there and get your stick in there. And that's why, as a defenseman, you're always going to have your stick in the air when they're in transition like that, so you may be able to knock that ball down. So great job by Dane Helt. Earlier we had the clear. Unfortunately, we just dropped the ball. A little bit of the drop skis going on here, Scott.
A lot of the drop skis is not like a drop kick either.
Good play by Ryan. Good job by the defender to force him up the hash there and take that shot from probably 8 or 9 yards versus 3 or 4.
It's another invert offensive start. Turner Cook, a sophomore there. Harrison Yu right on him, not giving him any ground. They're going to do another invert with another short stick on short stick. This is Chase Grimando, a freshman midi. No two-man game right now. He's all by himself. Oh, they found a nice shot up top.
And Brophy's going to live with that, Scott. They're going to live with that skip pass. Great play by the attackman there to feed it up top, and a good attempt by number 14. But Brophy's going to live with that. They're going to bet on Ryan to be able to stop that 12 to 15 yard shot versus something on the crease. That being said, I think we would like to see the defenders. As soon as you see the ball in the air as a defender, you've got to start going towards that offensive player. You can't wait till he catches it to pop out. You've got to move as soon as that ball's in the air.
Yeah, that's a dangerous spot up top in the middle, 12 yards out.
Yeah, I would imagine we don't watch a lot of CBA, but I bet you that's a good spot for number 14 up there. So I can see why they had that play. Yeah, Brophy playing patient here on defense, playing fundamental. You don't want to go for wild stick checks or hacks. Just play good, solid, fundamental defense. Move your feet and slide accordingly.
Some good team defense there. Not allowing the shot and forcing CBA to keep their offense going. Still has the ball. Anthony Lembo with the fake. Got the defense out of position. Took advantage. Got his hands free. And beat Peitzmeyer for a 4-0 CBA lead.
Yeah, good job going up the alley. Good job by the defenseman, Zach Lacoste, to ride him up and take that initial shot away. When he curled back, you want to be able to stop your feet and retreat, or you have that slide. So if you're a defenseman down there, as soon as that attackman's coming up the hash, you know that rollback's probably coming, Scott, so you got to be prepared to jump that on that rollback. So that was a long possession for CBA and a long, stand by the defense there.
Corbin Ruschenberg at the face-off dot. Won the clamp, but Quinn Kelly, a name we've mentioned a lot here, especially in the second quarter, comes up with the ball for CBA. Oh, nice pass and catch. It helps when Davis Campbell's got some decent size to him. He's not a long pole, but sometimes it feels that way with that extra height. Caught it in stride like a receiver.
Brophy's going to have to cause some of the turnovers on themselves, force some bad passes. Ball gets on the ground, it's got to be Brophy's ball. So they got to play aggressive and assertive and go after those hustle plays. It's going to take some hustle plays in order to get this swinging back in Brophy's favor.
Ground balls were about even in the first quarter. Nice save there by Peitzmeyer, but the turnovers undid the Broncos. So if they can keep fighting on the ground balls, keep that even throughout, especially in this aspect of the game, right in this part of the field.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. The hustle plays was a great slide. Zach Lacoste comes in, lays the body on him, forces a shot. Ryan makes a save. It's on the ground, and then we can turn into a transition. So good job by number 21 here, Todd Bodega, to bring the ball across.
Again, that one I'm definitely calling the sun on that. As the ball was over midfield, but Eli couldn't see it when the ball came across. That goes down as a turnover, an unforced turnover, although you could say it was forced by the sun. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter. It's CBA ball with a 4-0 lead here midway through the second quarter. CBA possession has been a lot in terms of the clock. If we were to time it out, it would be well north of 2/3 of the game have been played on this half of the field.
Yeah, right now it's a matter of Brophy's making the mistakes and CBA is not, and that's why they're up 4-0. So you got to tip your hat to the way CBA is playing. They're playing smart, they're playing wise, and they're playing patient both offensively and defensively.
So this is number 7, Christian Fox, a sophomore. On this side of the field, we haven't called any juniors or seniors thus far. On this side, it's all been freshmen and sophomores for the Colts.
Yeah, tonight not playing with the shot clock, so they can take as much time as they want. Great team defense there with Zach Lacoste and Harry. Wu didn't force the turnover, but got the ball on the ground and a restart. So excellent two-man game defensively there.
Oh, shot just wide. I think Peitzmeyer got a piece of that. We're going to give him a save because we like Ryan. Jackson Cheney on the curl and shot. He has no goals tonight, but 9 goals and 8 assists for a team-high 17 points on the season. That ball went just wide after Peitzmeyer got a little bit of the top of the stick on that one. And CBA will restart from behind the cage. This is Chase Grimando for the Colts. He's been back there a lot in that position, trying to find some separation where he can feed one of his teammates, maybe even get to the cage himself, but he's primarily looking to pass.
Yeah, so we'll see where the slide comes from. If he's going to dodge up this right hash, it's probably going to be from number 19, Dane Helt. If he goes to the right side, the other side is probably going to be Zach, number 3.
So far it's just surveying the scene. Find someone's on the crease. Beautiful doorstop save by Peitzmeyer.
Great save by Ryan there. That was an excellent, excellent job.
And now he's taking it into his own hands with the ground ball and the clear himself to a long pole, 21, Todd Baldiga. And right now he better look out because he's... So Harbison called a timeout. I didn't realize he had any left. I thought he called 2 in the first quarter. Apparently not. My math is incorrect. And so it will be Brophy ball with 3:58 left in the opening quarter. A smart play with a goalie and a long pole in possession, and 2 long poles chasing a long pole. The percentages might have been a little low there, so Harbison called the timeout.
Yeah, 2 very good athletes in your defense there with Todd, number 21, and then Ryan, the goalie. So 2 great athletes, but obviously more on the defensive side. So great decision by Coach Pat to call timeout, settle. Again, down 4-0. The offense has got to get something on the board. The one thing I do like defensively, Brophy spent a lot of time on the defense here, Scott, and we're seeing a lot better slides tonight, which is great, and we're seeing collapsing on the crease a lot more than we saw against Spire. So trying to learn from every game, that's what you're trying to do, right, is to get better every day and try to see some of those improvements. So really good job. We're seeing some good goalie play. It's the offense has got to pick up the pace here a little bit and help out.
Offense will have a chance here with 3:58 remaining in the first quarter. After that timeout, Brophy will reset with Friedman, Lightman, Geist, Busey, Armstrong, and Lacasse. Tate Lacasse on the offensive end is the 6-member offensive unit for the Broncos, looking to get on the board for the first time. You mentioned the first quarter shutout is a rare occasion for Brophy. I don't know the last time Brophy has been shut out in a complete half of action, either in-state or out-of-state. And we'll see in the last 4 minutes what can come from here. Eli Friedman will start. He is a commit to Marquette University in the Big East. He is defended by Quinn Kelly, a Harvard commit. Armstrong over to Busey.
Good patient play by Busey right there.
Friedman with the shot and a goal right on cue. We said it wasn't going to happen, and it didn't. Armstrong to Friedman, and Brophy is on the board.
So what I like about that, Scott, was a heck of a shot by Eli. What they were trying to do on the initial dodge is to move the ball through X. He probably wasn't going to shoot it. Moves the ball through X to the opposite side, see if you can get what's called a 2v1 on the backside. He took the dodge, moved it back through X, went to the other side, again, where you have that open shot, because the defense has to sink down when the ball's on the opposite side. So if you move the ball quickly around back behind cage, then you have your player open like Eli was right there for a time and room shot.
I was still surprised that Kelly left Friedman on that play, even though the ball went to the other side. He went down towards Armstrong to stop that instead of staying with Friedman. In theory, the more dangerous player, but that defensive rotation played to Brophy's favor there.
It did. If he does leave and stay on Freeman, then it leaves the middle wide open. So the attackman at X is going to look inside first, then he's going to look outside. That's usually the progression. It's like a quarterback working through their progression. You're going to look at the easy or the highest probability of scoring shot, and then he's going to move his way out.
So here come the Broncos again. Alex White, his first action on the field, number 1, a freshman for the Broncos. Braden Duck, number 22, back in. They did not initiate the offense with Duck from X like we have seen the last few games to success for the Broncos. Here's Lacasse.
So we need to see a little bit more off-ball movement. When the attack have the ball at X, you're seeing the 3 or 4 offensive players for Brophy just standing there looking at him. So they can't do that. They have to move off-ball.
And Tate Armstrong does. With the ball, curls around, shoots the ball deflected wide, and Brophy will have the ball with 2:53 here in the first quarter. Eli Friedman up top. Gets a step middle, but a nice collapse by CBA.
Great hustle by Alex White, the freshman, to run that ball out to get the possession. So if he wouldn't have done that, it was CBA's ball. So excellent job by the freshman.
Here's Busey. And here's Tate Lacasse in the 2-man game.
So again, as the attackmen are coming up, the off ball has got to exchange or rotate, set back picks, but they got to move. If they just stand there, then everybody's covered. There's nowhere to feed.
Good collection there by Armstrong with the ball on the ground. Busey with a step here. He's going to curl around, finds White for the shot and a goal. Alex White, the freshman, with his 15th goal of the season, cuts Brophy's deficit to 4-2. It was a 4-0 game early on. Now 2 goals in the last minute and a half. Put Brophy back in within 2.
Yeah, so great job by Tate Armstrong to get the ball because it was getting a little sloppy there. Move the ball around, and again, what happened is off that dodge, the defender had to slide to him. Once he slid, Alex gets his feet ready, time and room space shot, if you will, catches the ball and lets it rip, similar to how we saw Eli score on the other side. So again, that off-ball movement, drawing the slide, and then getting open is going to create those shots.
So Jack Grassoni back at the face-off X against Nick Mangelli. And Grassoni with the win. He's scored a goal, so watch out for that. Over to White, Armstrong, and Brophy now going to content to settle. 2 minutes to go, maybe get a 4-3 out of this one. Eli Friedman running more out of the midfield this evening than out of the attack position.
Yeah, probably get a downhill dodge. Ben Geist does this really well. If he's open, he's going to rip it. If not, he'll move the ball through X.
Right here, move the ball to White. Busey with a hitch. He's got a short pole, so he likes to try and take advantage of this opportunity. Shot and a save by Borison. I noticed on that offense, when they swing the ball around X, they're always looking for the wing. There's not as much movement in looking inside along the crease for the cutters there when Brophy has the ball. So the ball going out to the wing, not as much threatening the cage directly.
Yeah, ideally what you would do in that spot right there, Scott, when Busey was coming off, if you could, try to hit the skip pass. You had the backside exchange, so you had the wing on the other side. If you would have done that, I think it was Tate Lacoste popped out. If you would have done that and skip past it, then either Tate has a shot or he can dodge or pass down to the pipe for a score.
So CBA with the ball under 1 minute to play in a 4-2 lead. I expect that the Colts will be content to slow it down here a little bit, maybe play for the last shot, maybe 2 shots, but not to give Brophy another offensive opportunity here. Timeout, CBA with 45 seconds to play, and I think CBA coaching staff is going to talk just about that. Hey, let's not give them another shot. They have the momentum right now. It was 4-0 us. Now they've cut it to 4-2. Let's ensure that at worst we go into halftime at 4-2. At best, it's 5-2.
Yeah, smart play smart decision by the coach to do that. You got 45 seconds left, which really is an eternity in lacrosse because the ball can move so fast. So I think it's a smart move. Call the timeout, set up their play. My guess is they'll probably try to take it down to that 10-second mark before they let a shot go. That way, if they do miss it or it's saved, Brophy only has 8 to 10 seconds to take it down 60, 70 yards for a shot. So you're reducing the odds. But to your point, going up 5-2 is better than going down 4-3 or going up 4-3. So smart move by the coach. Brophy's defense has got to play stout here, so good second quarter for Brophy to fight back in these last 5 minutes to cut the lead to 2. Let's see if they can finish strong going into halftime.
So Brophy early on in the season was susceptible to giving up late quarter goals. That has shored up quite a bit. In fact, in the last few games, Brophy has had the advantage in scoring in the last minute of play against their opponent. But this is a critical juncture right here. 4-2 going into halftime feels a whole lot better than 5-2 with the other team scoring a juice goal. So we'll see here the Brophy defense. You have Harrison Yu as a short stick D-midi along with Ben Geist as a short stick D-midi. You have you have Aiden Ashore as a long pole, Dane Helt, Todd Baldiga, and Tate Lacoste is the defensive 6 for the Broncos.
I wouldn't be surprised here, Scott, if CBA takes, like I said earlier, about 30 seconds off just kind of moving the ball around. You can see them starting the ball either from behind the cage or coming off the wing. They've had some success right there. So I think that they can see that because Brophy's defense has stymied in the middle the last few times. I could see them trying to dodge hitting a skip pass either up top on the opposite side of the wing for a shot.
So CBA has started their offense a lot from behind the cage, and I expect that here again with Christian Fox on the ball, guarded by a short stick, Harrison Yu. But Brophy in a zone defense here to close out the quarter. So now Fox brings it back up top. Brophy goes into the man-to-man. Ashore on the defense.
Got to jump on the shooter's hands. About 5 seconds left for
the
shot.
Zone defense has confused CBA.
Great
a beautiful save off the bounce shot. Ryan Peitzmeyer keeps it at 4-2. A beautiful kick save and a beaut, they say.
Yeah, very sound defense right there. You need to switch it up to a zone, but Brophy did execute that really well. So you talk about a juice play for CBA if they would have scored. It's actually kind of a juice play for the Brophy defense to get so many stops. They spent, I don't have the stats in front of me, but they spent a lot of time on defense in this first half, something that Brophy wants to change moving into the second half. But great job by the Brophy defense to hold this CBA team to 4 goals and to get that big stop right there at the end. But like I said, I was pretty sure they were going to take that clock all the way down to the last 10 seconds or so, in which they did, and they were looking for the wing shot, and rightfully so because he was open, Scott, and it was a great shot. It was a great look. Ryan just made a fantastic save.
So with the score 4-2 at the break, we'll take 1-2. Come on back here for some second half action. It's heating up here, folks, and I'm not talking about the weather. Second half action on the docket here at Brophy Sports Complex as the Brophy Broncos, 3-time defending state champion here in Arizona, taking on CBA, Christian Brothers Academy from Lincroft, New Jersey. The Colts taking a 4-2 lead at the half. Jumped out to a 4-0 lead, but Brophy answered with a goal by Eli Friedman and Alex White to cut the deficit in half, and that's where we start here in the third quarter. Jack Rossoni at the faceoff X. Brophy was 5 of 8 on faceoffs in the first half. Here 6 of 9 for the Broncos, but 10 first half turnovers, more turnovers than shots, is what's plagued the Broncos here in the early going.
I'll switch here defensively. Zach Lacoste playing a look midi, LSM, and Aiden Ashure's back at low, close D.
So Brophy loses possession there on the turnover. And here comes CBA in transition on the clear.
Unfortunately, that was the story of the first half. I was hoping that we would see a reduction in the turnovers here in the second half. So it's early on. Let's hope that's the last one. And Brophy can play a clean game. When Brophy was playing a clean game and getting the ball finally on offense, they proved to be able to score like we know that they can. So we spent a lot of time on defense in the first half. Hopefully here in the second half it's a lot more balanced.
Only 7 shots for the Broncos in the first half, and we talked about the dearth of scoring for Brophy, and historically the shot count also is down. You don't normally see Brophy with only 7 shots in a half. Here CBA turns the ball over, and Brophy will regain possession to try and get its second offensive possession of the second half, and a more productive one at that. So again, Brophy changing it up a little offense with Josh Busey and Eli Friedman, their 2 leading scorers, 2 of the leading scorers in the state of Arizona on attack, playing out of the midfield here tonight to try and get them the ball in different positions. We talked about CBA's strong long poles, so trying to get them the ball a little differently. Shot wide there by Friedman, but a nice run out by Tate Lacoste keeps the possession in Brophy's sticks.
Those hustle plays right there that are going to keep Brophy in the game. That easily could have just given up on that, and yet ran it out by Tate Lacoste to keep possession. So Brophy's got to keep possession of this ball, move the ball around quick, get some off-ball exchanges, hit the open guy.
CBA an aggressive defense. Shot by Matthew Lightman, a bounce shot. Saved by Borison.
Good job by the Brophy defense to slow this down.
Hot man coming in. Finds an open shot. Oh, beautiful save on the doorstep by Peitzmeyer. Tanner Cook had an open shot, but Ryan said, not on this one, sir.
Yeah, got fortunate there. Luckily, a fantastic goalie in there to be able to save your bacon, but the defense right there needed to collapse a lot faster than that. Can't give a guy wide open on the crease.
So this is the area that Brophy needs to keep their proverbial heads on a swivel. And now Brophy pressing out. Harrison Yu on Dylan Stratton. Forcing him left down the alley. He does not want to go left. He wants to go toward the middle. He finds a step on you with the shot, and Ryan's going to take that one. Beautiful scoop by Kendall Winston. Ryan with 7 saves in the first half. That's number 8. Kendall Winston. The ill-advised pass, though, did the hard work. Really nice job by Kendall to move the ball up the field, but tried as a long pole to force it down low, especially against Quinn Kelly, who we talked about a lot in the first half. He's going to Harvard in the fall, and Quinn knocked that one down and regained possession for CBA.
Yeah, again, great job by him on the defensive side, and I think that's just where as a freshman you're going to learn, don't push it, right? Some of the hardest things to do as a competitor is to actually back out and to stop playing. And what I mean by that is the smart move would have been right there just to stop if Kendall had the ball. No one was open. Just stop, back out, get it to your midi or your attack, and then get off so the next offensive player can come on. So that's something he's going to learn in his career. But great defense, great scoop, great clear down to the offensive side. Just got to make a better decision on the pass.
That will come in time.
CBA is going to run their own 2-man game right there. We probably have an illegal pick.
Moving pick, just like in basketball and lacrosse, you can't set a pick while you're moving. It has to be stationary. And here's Dane Helt.
I really like Dane's clears tonight. He's doing a great job of getting the ball down the field. Smart move right there by Dane. Again, junior, rather than forcing it, got into space and trying to get rid of the ball.
Flag down as CBA had a double team trying to push Lacoste out of bounds, but the flag came first, and Brophy will have a man opportunity here with 7:51. It's their first man up tonight. The only man up has gone to CBA, and the Colts did take advantage in the first quarter with a goal.
Yeah, and so CBA's turned the ball over a couple of times here. Brophy's got to take advantage of these turnovers themselves. Good job by CBA to play a little, kind of frantic in the sense double teaming the ball, trying to force their own turnovers so they can kind of get in the swing of things. A lot of times as a team, if you can create that transition, you can get a kind of a cheap or a quick goal, and that gets you back on track. I think that's what CBA was trying to do.
So I believe this is a timeout by CBA.
There's a penalty on the play, but I don't know who called the timeout.
I'm going to go with CBA because Brophy did not run across the field like they knew that there was a timeout. So I'm going with CBA on this one because otherwise Brophy would be over. I don't think it was a timeout.
Coach Pat is trying to say that they should be able to pick up the ball and go and play. Looks like the refs are going to allow CBA to get back on the field.
Coach Harbison not happy about this one as Brophy's looking to score the third goal in a row and cut the deficit to 4-3. So Brophy in a man-up situation here.
So the last couple times Brophy settled for an outside shot. Let's see if we can work the ball around. We haven't really seen a lot of skip passes yet for an open guy. There's a skip pass up top.
Ranley takes advantage with some high heat. Ball movement, we talked about it. Got them out of position. Yes, they were man down, but got them out of position. Ranley finds a seam and finds the back of the net.
Yeah, and that's that skip pass, right? So the attackman has it behind cage, and he's looking up top. Well, first of all, he's looking inside. Didn't force it inside, so that was a great move. Skipped it up top for a wide open step down by Maddox Ranley. And Maddox Ranley's got a cannon. When he's under control and he gets his feet set, he can really light that cage up. And so that was a great look. But again, that's what I was talking about right before the score is Brophy's got to look for the skip passes. Against a talented defense, you have to catch them out of position. And so that's where that skip pass comes into play because you're hitting an open guy for a shot.
Ranley on a hot streak recently, his 5th goal in the last 4 games, number 14 on the season for Maddox. And it came at an opportune time as Brophy now trails only 4-3.
So CBA having a challenge here with the ball as well. They're kind of playing a little bit of the drop skis and having a couple of turnovers. So again, let's see if Brophy can take advantage of this and tie this ball game up.
So Brophy has the ball here. That ball was too many men on the field or an offside. It goes back to Brophy, and if Brophy can get this to 4-4, feather in their cap with all those early turnovers, especially on the unforced variety. The sun is now down, but now Brophy will have a fresh start at 4-4. Here's Braden Duck. We've talked about him quite a bit. So Braden Duck, a freshman out of the Mesa area, initiates the offense from X. Watch for Brophy to do a pick for him. They do with Tate Armstrong. The skip there for Ranley, but again, disruptive by Quinn Kelly. And that's an over and back.
So over and back because the Brophy defensive player crossed over the 50-yard line, so then there'd be 7 guys on one side, which you can't do in lacrosse. Can only have 6v6.
But again, that was caused by the pass over the head of Brophy's offensive player, and the ball went to the midfield line. So again, a pass with a misconnect. And we'll see if CBA extends the lead here or if Brophy's defense can hang tight, which it has done in over a quarter of play. The last CBA goal was the 7:07 mark of the second quarter. We're now under 6 minutes here in the third. So Brophy's defense has done a nice job recently, collecting themselves, playing sound defense, guarding the off-ball movement a lot better there in the latter part of the second quarter.
Yeah, defense really shoring up. Right there, you saw a skip pass up from down low behind cage up top. Great job by Dane Held on a quick approach, get his stick on his hands, took away the shot, which number 11 was looking for that shot. So excellent job by Dane Held to move when the ball was in the air rather than waiting for him to catch it.
Daniel Verone, freshman. Anthony Lembo, who has one already tonight. The last goal is the one that he scored, where he had a fake of a dodge over the head. Kind of got the defender out of position thinking he was going to pass it, but didn't, and then got his hands free for the goal.
A couple of new defenders out there. Like I said at the beginning, Aiden Ashur is dropping back down to close. And then Cannon Jansen, Cannon Jansen, number 18, is on there too. So Coach Pat getting some different guys, different looks out here against a really good CBA team. So excellent for these guys to get the time down there going into the state playoffs.
So the ball on the shot was wide. Peitzmeyer did a beautiful job of cutting the angle and guarding that part of the goal to not allow the offensive player to have a clean, good look at it, and it went wide, but CBA recollects possession of the ball. And Brophy now. Flag on a late hit up high by Brophy. And so a man down unit for CBA. This is Verone, unfortunately, who's down. He got up already, though that's good for him. Again, Verone, a freshman, 9 goals, 2 assists, scored the game-winning goal against Rumson 2 games ago. He jogs off on his own power, so no problem there for CBA, aside that he's probably on their man-up unit, so he won't be out there now. But CBA will have a 6-on-5 opportunity and advantage, already 1-for-1 tonight for CBA when they have had a man-up situation. This is a 60-second hit on Brophy.
Yeah, glad he's okay. He was coming up so hard. I don't think Tob was not intending to body check that hard. Just Tob's 6'6", probably 220 pounds. So he just ran into a brick wall right there.
I think it was more the timing of it. It was after the play that was the issue there. But a quick turnover by CBA gives it to Brophy. So Brophy with the opportunity to clear the ball and kill the penalty.
Yeah, this is big for Brophy, right? Your man down, and they force a turnover within 1 or 2 passes. So here the speedster, number 16, Harry Wu, taking the ball down, and if he's got the green light to just take it all the way and get an offensive spot. Harry's also talented enough to go in for the score, too. That time he dished it off to his midi. So now
here they have a bingo situation. Eli Friedman, it's man down, but he's got some room. Lefty shot off the pipe. That would have tied it at 4-4. The ball goes out of bounds, and it will go to CBA. So Brophy in transition here, in transition defense. Here comes CBA with the man-up opportunity and with speed. They have an advantage in numbers. Here's number 2, shot and a goal. Second time in transition, an extra man. Brophy in a bad situation there. Not only were they man down 6-on-5, they had one less player on the field. It was really 6-on-4 there. And Davis Campbell, his second crank shot of the night, the Holy Cross commit, stops the bleeding for the Colts.
Yeah, hats off to CBA, even defensively down here on Brophy's when Brophy had the ball. They were creating kind of that chaos. They were, double teaming. They were sprinting around. Eli had a great shot, just, a quarter of an inch difference, and it's in the back of the cage. But CBA, credit to them, they created that hustle play or that turnover, if you will, got the ball, was able to move back on transition. So good job for them.
So Brophy had the ball in possession, was looking to kill the clock, decided to take a shot, and when that happens, there's an adverse effect if it doesn't work. Another turnover for the Broncos.
Yeah, so you like to be able to look for the inside play there. That's what Jack Grassoni was doing right there. Again, you don't want to force it. Brophy right there, we've said this before, they're going to live with the outside shots. Ryan's probably only given up 1, maybe 2 outside shots, but I think it was just 1 just 2 seconds ago, the 5th goal. So they're going to live with that. But earlier, if you don't have the shot, don't force the crease. And that's unfortunately what just happened, which created another turnover.
So we talked about a couple of games ago of making the pass that it's a 100% pass. Don't pass it if it's an 80% chance or if there's a stick in the way. Make sure it's 100% opening before you throw it to your teammate, especially when you're down and you're trying to claw back in possessions that are premium. You have to make sure you maximize and value the ball. There's a shot from X. Score by number 20, Anthony Lembo, his second tonight. So 3 players with 2 goals each for CBA, and Lembo gives the Colts a 6-3 lead, back up to 3.
Yeah, back to that comment with the passing, especially you want to do it because Brophy's got multiple guys that can take the ball and put it in the back of the net. So if you only had 1 or 2 guys that could score, it's one thing to take those risks. You don't have to take those risks for this team. They have probably 7, 8, 9 guys that can put the ball pretty consistently in the back of the cage. Here, unfortunately, the slide was just a little too late. And again, that's something that Brophy's done fairly well. That was a little bit too late on the slide. You'd rather slide early, especially coming up the hash against a talented attackman. So great job by the attackman there for CBA to come up and take that shot because the slide was late.
So what was once a 4-0 lead was cut to 4-3. CBA has come back with 2 goals within 1 minute here to reclaim a 3-goal advantage as we play here in the third quarter. 2.5 minutes left for the Colts. Davis Campbell, Holy Cross commit with 2 goals.
Brophy's going to pressure out and then have to be able to slide and what's called reco or recover. So if you force your player down the alley and he gets by you in the slide, then you have to go recover back to the middle, find the next guy, and cover him. So good job by Brophy. They're trying to force a turnover is what they're trying to do here.
So pressing out, and Harrison Yu with the stab, the takeaway, and the ground ball. And here comes Harry. Let's see what he has to bring. And he's going to shoot it himself. He says, let me do it. I'm going to score. And he does.
I said it earlier. Harry's got the green light not only to take the ball down the field, but also to let it rip. And right there, that was, again, you would expect this out of your senior. He's going to excellent school, D3, Colorado College. But you would expect that out of him. This was a great high IQ shot. He took the ball. He penetrated down the right alley. His attackmen were covered. They didn't really slide to him. So, again, any offensive player, if he can get his hands free, they're going to shoot. And he did that. So excellent job by Harry.
He earned that goal all by himself. He had the tough defense. He stripped it. He picked it up. And then he ran down the field, surveyed the scene. He was a former U.S. box lacrosse national team player for Team USA. So he has that short stick ability of shooting. He saw the opening. He took it and ran it through. Here's a face-off win for CBA.
Nice work by Brophy to stop that fast break. That's when, CBA's been able to score. We saw it against Spire the other night. When Brophy can stop the transition offense like that, the fast break, their defense is playing a lot better, and they were able to stop and force them into a 6v6 situation like they have right here.
So here's CBA, content to move the ball around. They initiate a lot of offense from down low. Whereas Brophy initiates a lot from up top, CBA initiates a lot from down low. Here's Lembo, already with 2 goals tonight.
Yeah, CBA's got a couple of quick little attackmen that are really good at finding the open players. So that's what they're trying to do down low. They're probably not as effective up top, but when they get down low and make that cut up the crease, they're making the goalie turn around to find the ball, and they're making the defense slide to a cutter. Two things that are very difficult for a defense to do consistently throughout the game.
So CBA, the other thing they're doing is identifying the short stick on short stick matchup and exploiting that to their advantage. Almost all of their dodges, they've ensured that it's been short stick on short stick.
Yeah, you might as well stay away from the long pole if you can. Very patient right there. Again, he was coming at the hash. He was not. You could tell he wasn't going to shoot it, but he was going to be looking for the cutter.
So 14 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Nice collapse by Helt. Beautiful save by Peitzmeyer. He can just hold the ball, does not have to throw it, and that will end the third quarter as Brophy claws back in. 6-4 at the end of 3. Nice defense there. A slide by Helt gave a little bit of a shot for CBA, but again, as you talked about all night long, we'll live with that and take our chances with Ryan Peitzmeyer.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd rather have that than hitting the crease right in front of Ryan. That's really tough for a goalie to stop consistently. Once in a while, Ryan makes a fantastic athletic save and stuffs people on the door, but you don't want to live the game that way. You'd rather live with them shooting from 8 to 12 yards, and a player like Ryan or a goalie that's seeing the ball really well is going to stop that more times than not. So really good job by the defensive to end this quarter strong, just like they ended the second quarter strong going into halftime. Down 12 minutes left. It's anybody's game at this particular point. So let's see if Brophy can rise to the occasion.
So first half turnovers, big problem for Brophy. Second half turnovers in the third quarter there were 3, 2 unforced and 1, forced turnover. So again, better than has been in the past 3. You don't like to have it, so we'll see what happens in the fourth quarter if Brophy can manage to keep control of the ball, get that ball movement on the offensive side, and continue to play defense in a sound fashion. Peitzmeyer's heating up. He has 9 saves tonight, and so he's seeing the ball well now. Again, the son that was with us in the first half is no longer. Peitzmeyer, a commit to Utah, plays with a lot of these CBA players by virtue of playing on Mad Dog National. Mad Dog's a big club in New Jersey, and several of these players from CBA are Mad Dog players, probably his teammates over the summer. And so he's got a little extra juice, as they say, to shut down this Colts team. So last night, CBA shut Spire out for the whole second half. Brophy scored 2 necessary goals in that third quarter. Let's see how many they can get here in the fourth quarter as we fight to the finish.
Yeah, offensively, we're going to look for how well and how quick does Brophy move the ball. Can they look for the skip pass, and where are they going to initiate the offense? Are they going to initiate the offense behind cage or from the wing? They've had more success initiating the offense from either the wing or behind the cage versus starting the dodge from up top. Good job by Brophy to maintain possession here off the face-off.
It helps when you have a 6'6" attackman there and the ball's in the air to go up there and make sure you retain possession. And the first possession of this fourth quarter is going to be critical. Can Brophy cut the lead down to 6-5 and gain some more juice down the stretch? Here's Eli Friedman, guard by a short pole, so look for Eli for a high dodge here. Over to Armstrong.
There's a skip pass that we're looking at. When Eli's up top, he's looking to draw that. Nice rip. It was a good shot. He was open for about 8-10 yards out to be able to take that shot just a little bit outside. But when Eli starts up top near like the 35 or 40 yard line, he's looking to create that long slide and looking inside for the cutter. Unfortunately, he wasn't open, so he moved the ball through X. Tough shot right there. Good idea to get to the middle by Matthew Lightman. Good trail check to be able to get the ball out of his stick, but Brophy maintains possession. This is where you want to settle down as an offense and really start seeing that off-ball motion and cuts as he's dodging up the alley.
Busey had a short stick there. He had a step. I thought maybe he could have continued with his curl, but he swung the ball around. Ooh, little slippage there.
Great idea just to pull it back out and try to make that pass over to Eli. Unfortunately, it went out of bounds, so it's a turnover. And now the defense for Brophy's got to step up. It's a little windy out here, Scott. The wind has picked up a little bit, which does, affect a little bit of the trajectory of the ball on a pass. So both teams are going to have to deal with the wind here as it picks up.
Good clear for the Colts.
If you're CBA, you're going to take the shot when it's open, but you're probably not going to be in a huge rush. They don't seem to play really fast-paced offense in a 6v6 scenario. They're fine with being patient and moving the ball around. And if they don't have the cutter, they'll just restart over their dodge like you're going to see here with a two-man game.
Yep, and all from X. They take the ball deep, milk the clock. There's no shot clock. They're a nice defense and collapse, forcing the ball across the cage.
Yeah, again, the attackman looking for that inside. We have a turnover right there. Maddox Ranley picked up the ball right out of the air, transition right down here. Let's see if we make the right decision.
Busey pass to Armstrong, and that's a shot and a goal. That ball went in. So now we are 6-5, a nice transition goal for the Broncos off a turnover. We've seen it happen the other way. Roles reverse, and we're a one-goal ball game.
Yeah, so it's like in football. Your offensive linemen are probably some of the most important positions on the field because without them, you can't pass the ball or run the ball and catch the ball. Right there, the defense did a great job inside against that crease pass attempt, forced the turnover, Maddox picks it out of there. Again, defensively starting this break, and this is kind of gets the team going when they're doing that. What a feed by Josh Busey down low to Tate Armstrong for the finish.
So Busey is a finisher, and CBA knows that. It was in their pregame scouting report. Busey with his third assist tonight because he didn't take the shot. He found Armstrong with the tap-in goal as opposed to him taking it. A beautiful heads-up play by Josh Busey there.
Yeah, when Busey recently, probably this last half of the season, has really started what you would call trust your teammates. Rather than forcing a shot, he's actually looking for the open player. And Busey has no problem scoring. He's a prolific scorer. But when he can play like that, it makes this Brophy team very difficult because the defense has to key on number 26. So when he's dishing as well as shooting, that's an effective offense.
So CBA's plan was to limit Friedman and Busey and make the supporting cast play a part. Here's Friedman with the shot a little bit high. If he gets it on cage, he's got a shot. But beautiful ball movement and swinging the ball, finding the open man. There, here's Carter Fitzgerald. Ooh, the twister didn't happen, but that will be Brophy ball.
Great.
Good possession by Tate Lacasse.
Great look inside by Tate. Great hustle to get the ball back. And earlier, another good pass by Busey to flip it, again, backside over to Eli on the opposite side for the shot. So I like what I'm seeing with the ball movement. It's moving hot, it's moving quick, and we're making good decisions.
Also have 5 different goal scorers for Brophy's 5 goals. A well-rounded offensive unit tonight. 1 for Eli Friedman, none for Busey, but the team is picking each other up. Three members there. So Busey with Friedman with an open shot hits the pipe. That's great ball movement because on that Ben Geist dodge, he collected 3 CBA defenders and the backside was wide open. Brophy found him and it just hit the pipe.
Yeah, and you have to against Ben Geist. He's proven this year to be able to go down that alley and put the ball in the back of the cage. So excellent idea and great job by the attackman down. I think it was Busey down there to move the ball fast outside Eli. Eli, great shot, hit the pipe. Again, that's 2 or 3 that Eli's had off the pipe. And so a quarter of an inch difference, and those are goals.
The key you said was move the ball fast. Not just move the ball, but move it fast. Here's Fitzgerald behind the cage.
This is where, Scott, we want to see the off-ball movement. So even though Carter's not moving, the cutters have got to move to free up the space.
And they weren't. So when you're in that situation, you have to help out your man, create the space for yourself.
Good trail check there by the defender to cause that ball to go out of bounds. So 6-5, 7 minutes, 12 seconds left in the game.
Tried for the rusty gate, but wasn't as rusty as you wanted it to be, and CBA gets the clear.
Almost had it. Almost had it. Worth a last effort ditch right there.
The CBA's last goal was the 2:53 mark of the last quarter to take a 6-3 lead. Brophy's answered with 2 straight goals, making it a 1-goal, 6-5 game here midway through the final frame. The last 2 games for CBA have been double overtime. We're going to go 3 straight games for CBA with double overtime affairs. They hope not because they have a red-eye flight back to New Jersey, so they are hoping that it does not go that way. That was the reason for our 6 p.m. start this evening. And for those of you who are joining us from New Jersey, thank you for sending your boys out here to play a few games and the families who have come along to support their team. And good luck to you the rest of the season there in New Jersey.
Yeah, we feel very fortunate to be playing against a very talented team. So thank you to all the New Jersey families.
So that will be Brophy ball with it on the ground, a turnover, and the Broncos off to the races. Ben Geist here looking to clear. And he does. Brophy a lot better tonight on clears, 12 of 15 right now for the Broncos.
That's really helping. A great defense there to be able to stop it, give their offense a chance to get back in this game and tie it up with 5:42 left. So you don't want to play frantic. You don't want to play out of control. You want to play fundamental. You want to move the ball, make the right pass, make the easy, simple pass. Trust your teammates. Look for the open shot. And if you got the shot, let her rip.
Maddox Ranley gets a little bit middle. They collapse on him. Move the ball.
So when Maddox is dodging like that, the other players have got to move. They got to pop out. They got to cut because he's drawing the slide.
Here is Busey, guarded by Pasquet. Now Busey has a short stick. Little confusion by CBA, but they recover.
Good idea by Eli to move the ball quickly over to Maddox. Let's see if he can take the ball down the alley.
So Brophy there dodging on a long pole with a sliding long pole, whereas CBA is taking it back and dodging only on short poles. That's the difference in the offense. Neither one is right or wrong. It's just a different philosophy. I guess textbook-wise, you'd prefer to have your Dodgers go against a short stick, not a long stick, if you had the opportunity and the choice. Here's Eli Friedman. Lefty shot high and wide, but 2 Brophy offensive players there to give Brophy another shot. This is shot attempt number 4 on this possession. So now they have the defense in a tired situation. Now is the time, Nate, where ball movement and player movement can really reap a benefit.
Yeah, if you can hit a skip pass here, it's going to really open it up. And credit to their defenders. Their defenders are really doing a good job with the stick checks and the trail checks. And we got a timeout call by CBA. Smart move. Their defense has been on the field for a long time. You want to try to set up your clear and get the ball over and probably kill 1 or 2 minutes here on this side. So good move by CBA to call that timeout. Brophy with a decent opportunity, took a couple of shots, which is what you want to see. Unfortunately, it just didn't turn into a goal on this sequence.
Well, at the end of the possession, it reverted back to a dodging into multiple traffic instead of moving the ball around when you had the defense tired, and that resulted in a beautiful check. Again, we talked about the talented CBA defense with several players going to Division I, high-level Division I players, and so that's going to be a difficult task for the Brophy offense if you're not getting them out of position and making them in uncomfortable situations. But the game's still plenty left, 4:18 remaining here, 6-5 Brophy trailing by 1. CBA has the ball deep in their territory, looking to clear the ball here. So we've seen some successful riding by the attackman Brophy a couple times. Josh Busey, even in the game on Monday night against Spire, had 2 cause turnovers, and you don't see a lot from attackman and cause turnovers. So this is an opportune time. If Brophy wants to get back into the game, they need an exchange of possession and to kind of steal a possession. They've been giving possessions away on turnovers. Now they need to steal one.
Yeah, not a lot of goals. I'm not even sure if we've had maybe one on a transition or a fast break, which is pretty uncommon for this Brophy team. They score a lot of goals on transition. So, again, kudos to CBA and the way that they're playing, the way that they're getting back and slowing that down, at least making what we call a slow break versus a fast break, and which at least gives them a fighting shot to stop the ball. So CBA, again, playing fantastic defense. But, yeah, to your point, if Brophy can, quote-unquote, steal a couple of easy ones here, quick ones, that's going to give them that momentum to finish out this game. So Brophy's setting up the ride, almost triple teaming. They're going to jump with Carter to the goalie.
And they tried to force a bad pass, but here Quinn Kelly, arguably the best player on the CBA roster, they get the ball in his hands smartly on their part, and he easily takes it over into the box. And we're under 4 minutes to play here. 16 turnovers for Brophy tonight.
This is where Brophy's going to have to play real physical. His CBA is going to want to go to their bread and butter, which is a dodge up the alley, up the hash here, and look for that inside. So they got to slide to collide, if you will, on a hot slide, and then they've got to clamp down on that crease and force the outside shot and let your stud goalie make that save.
So CBA content, with no shot clock, just to hang out back there. Brophy eventually is going to have to pressure in and cause that offensive player to make a move. Otherwise, the clock's going to run out, and Eric Grissoni does just that. But again, no rush for CBA unless they're forced into it.
This is why I don't understand why we don't play with a shot clock more consistently.
It would be nice if the NHS would change that rule to mirror college. It also gets the players prepared for college because no matter what level, 1, 2, 3, or MCLA, they're playing with a shot clock in college, and so you have to get used to it. But here it's been over a minute of time where this player has just been hanging out behind the cage, so Brophy has to play with some urgency.
Now they got to play with urgency. You don't want to play out of position, but you want to play with some urgency. There's 2 minutes and 45 seconds left here in the game. So, yes, and CBA is smart, right? I mean, the rules allow for this. They're just going to sit and do it. And if Brophy's not going to pressure, I don't blame him. Sit back there, have a cup of coffee, and relax.
I'm not sure why Brophy's not pressuring. Harrison Yu finally does come out on Verone, but he's just going to go back behind the cage. Shot by Verone, saved by Peitzmeyer. Save number 10 on the night for Ryan. but the ground ball comes up CBA. It's kind of like an offensive rebound in basketball. You've done a great job defending. You give away that offensive rebound. It's a little bit of a killer because here now we're about 2 minutes left. CBA is going to have to keep the ball in the box with only a 1-goal lead, and once the clock hits 2 minutes and we're 3 seconds away from that happening, they will have to keep the ball in the offensive box. If they get outside of that box, then Brophy will get possession.
And that box goes from the in line to the 30-yard line as you're watching on TV here.
Timeout CBA, their second timeout of the half with 1:51 to play. Brophy has to pressure the ball here. There's no time left to just dilly-dally and let them being CBA, hang out on the outside. It's do or die time.
I think what Coach Pat's trying to do, I don't know why the clock is still running, but they'll correct that here pretty soon. But I think what Coach Pat is doing is not necessarily doubling the ball with 2 or 3 minutes left, because not wanting to get out of position and give up a cheap goal if they could have forced either a shot or a bad pass. Now you're at the point where they're going to have to play a little bit more frantic, kind of create that chaos, if you will, to at least get them to do something, whether it's pass the ball or shoot the ball.
So Brophy, on the defensive end, they know what CBA likes to do. They like to have a short pull there and just hang out behind the cage and try and take the time to try and be patient until that advantage is created. Not forcing a ball, not succumbing to the pressure, just saying, okay, I'm here, there's no one there, I'm going to keep cradling, I'm going to take a step back, create that space, redodge until I'm ready to go. So the patient group, this CBA group, but in the second half, they have not scored here in the fourth quarter. It's 6-5. Brophy with a little bit of an advantage here and a little bit of momentum. But momentum needs to carry through with CBA having the ball.
Yeah, it's got to lead to an offensive possession here, and then obviously to execute and put that sucker in the back of the net. What you're probably going to see here is I'm assuming CBA will take the ball behind cage again, get it to their attackman who's very good with the ball. Either one of them back there. So Brophy doesn't want to. They don't want to pressure and leave the crease open. If you're going to pressure and double team, you'd rather let the middies up top be open and give them a sense of security that they can shoot a 10 or 12-yard shot. And again, live with the odds that Ryan's going to make that save. What you don't want to do is let the middle of the field open for an easy shot.
So Harrison Yu is playing with a long pole now. He's played with a short pole all game long. And the middies out for Brophy. One is Eli Friedman, who's more of an offensive middie than a defensive middie. So Coach Harbison playing, expecting a little bit of pressure, trying to get the quick turnover and have your offensive players already on the field. But here, again, they're just content to play behind the cage, and Brophy is playing with them but not doing anything to force. There's Peitzmeyer comes out of the cage. A beautiful check by Ryan Peitzmeyer. Collects the ball, and they call him for going in and out of the crease. A beautiful play by Ryan Peitzmeyer, but he picked the ball up and outside the crease, and you're not allowed to collect it and run back through the protected area there. So here CBA gets the ball, beats Baldiga, and hits an open net, and Brophy is now down 2 goals with 1:20 to play.
So I think there's a little miscommunication. They wanted to pull the goalie to probably double team, I think. And so as soon as CBA saw that the goalie was pulled, the attackman went to the cage. And fairly smart. There's still 1:20 left. And so in lacrosse, that is a long time. If Jack here can win the faceoff and go down and score quickly, it's still going to be anybody's game right there. But, yeah, unfortunate. Tom makes a good play, forces the ball to go on the ground, then rides him up the hash. Ryan comes out very aggressively, knocks the ball down, gets the ball, and unfortunately steps back in the crease. And that's what we call a no-no.
A no-no, but a yes for the effort there. Ryan was looking to create some magic to go back the other way. Quinn Kelly, we talked about him all night long, comes up with a huge check when Brophy had possession. The Harvard commit unseats the stick, unseats the ball, and CBA has it with 1 minute to go here with a 2-goal lead.
So they're going to pull the goalie here and then try to attack. They forced the turnover.
Triple teamed
and
it.
And now Brophy's got a chance. You got 56 seconds left in the game. Flag is down.
Throw the ball.
Brophy's going to keep the ball.
Just throw the ball down the field. Get to the man-up situation. Time is not your friend. Grissoni, though, takes advantage. The face-off man shoots it and scores. We're at 45 seconds to go. 7-6. A wild finish here at Brophy Sports Complex.
So there you have where you pull the goalie, you create the turnover, which is what you ideally wanted it. get it downfield. Jack pulls up from 10 or 12 yards and buries the shot with 45 seconds left, folks. It's 7-6. It's anybody's game, and that's what I was saying. Even though CBA went up by 2 with $1:20 left, when you can win the face-offs, you're creating more offense. So Jack did that last time. Let's see if Jack can do it again here.
45.2 seconds left. Brophy trailing by 1. They put Quinn Kelly at the face-off X. It's not unfamiliar for him. He's done it all year long, but their Harvard recruit trying to neutralize Grissoni. Grissoni with the clamp collects the ball in a timeout. Brophy, we have a chance, folks. 42.7 seconds to go. Brophy down 4-0 in the second quarter, has battled back all game long, never said die in the face of turnovers, in the face of giving up man-up goals. All of that, we are here with a chance to tie the game. That's all you can ask for. Again, 2 straight double overtime games for CBA. I guess we could have predicted this might happen.
Yeah, he could. And this is great for Brophy. It's great for Brophy to be in these situations where they're having to come from behind all game and try to see if they can win this game. Every champion needs to have to go through that adversity, has got to be able to go through a difficult, challenging time. And it's moments like this, win or lose, that helps you prepare for their ultimate goal, and that's to win the state championship here in the state of Arizona. So this is a great opportunity to learn from. This is a great opportunity to grow from, and to be in this position when you've been battling. Nothing's come easy for Brophy. Their defense has now played stout since the second quarter. They've held a great team in CBA to 7 goals in pretty much 4 quarters. We got 42 seconds left, and one was when the goal was open. So 7 goals in 4 quarters against a very good team. And offensively, Brophy's never been this stymied before in a long time. So this is a good battle. And as a coach, you actually want this for your team. You want a team to battle through these to see if they can come out on the other end.
That doesn't look like 5 yards to me, but Brophy gets the ball across midfield.
No time to panic here. Again, CBA may play a little frantic. If I'm them, they're probably going to just play pretty fundamental defense. Put the pressure on Brophy to deliver. So if you're Brophy, make the good, easy pass, simple pass, off-ball movement, move the ball hot, hit the cutter.
Carter Fitzgerald initiates from the top. Finds Tate Armstrong behind the cage. Josh Busey from up top has a step, but they recover nicely. Swings it back. We're at 8 seconds to go. Busey inside roll, gets a step. He is hammered on the crease. And that's the ball game.
Well, great attempt by Brophy right there. Great attempt to come back and fight back into this game to give themselves a shot. And as a competitor, you just want a shot. Like, give me a shot. And so you're playing a close game like this. They had an opportunity right there. They weren't able to capitalize, but a very, very hard-fought game. And I think they're going to grow from a lot. Again, compliments to CBA. I would say CBA did their job and they held on. They had a very strong first half, but since then they were battling to keep the Broncos at bay, and they just held them just short of coming back. So great job. It's great to have the team out from New Jersey. Safe travels home to them, and kudos to the Broncos for fighting and staying in this game.
So CBA, we knew they were going to be a tough defensive effort, and that proved time and again here tonight. Even on that last play, Busey had a step, but the recovery and the help defense, I believe that was Quinn Kelly once again. We called his name a lot. We knew we were going to, but he came through and collapsed to prevent Busey from a game-tying opportunity.
Yeah, and I really liked, Busey in that situation. Wasn't scoring a lot in this game, but was facilitating the game. But when it came down to it, here's a senior. He's going on to play at Queens of Charlotte, and he said, give me the rock. I'm going to go to the cage myself and try to make this happen. And so he did that, and he was trying to win one for his team. So really respect the way that Busey played the game today. And even though it didn't end like he probably wanted it, really a good job for him to still have that confidence to say, give me the ball and let me go do this.
So Brophy was down 4-0 early in the ball game, but did not quit, did not stop fighting. The Broncos came back, eliminated some of the turnover that were plaguing them early, shored up some of the defense. Ryan Peitzmeyer got hot in cage for the Broncos, and Brophy worked their way back. Again, it was a tie ball game several times here, so you have to applaud the Broncos for that against a tough opponent. A lot tougher, and they play differently than the Arizona teams that we'll see here in the last few games in the playoffs. So they weathered that storm, which bodes well for the playoffs. We will start, as Brophy has the #1 seed. We'll let you know exactly the day and time of the game, but looks like April 25th here at the Brophy Sports Complex, where Brophy will play the winner of the #8 seed and the #9 seed in the first step of a quest for the 4th straight championship for the Broncos. So we are going to leave you here tonight from Brophy Sports Complex. Thank you for joining us from wherever you're tuning in from New Jersey, from Arizona, from the Pacific Northwest, or anywhere in between. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the 25th.